Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 Bruce Lee fight scenes. For this list, we'll be looking at those fight scenes that helped immortalize Bruce Lee. Which is your favorite Bruce Lee fight? Let us know in the comments. Number 10. Chen Zhen vs. Petrov, Fist of Fury.
Let me take care of him.
Size does not always make a difference. Fist of Fury places Bruce Lee's Chen in a string of lopsided battles, only for the martial artist to prove repeatedly that no odds are insurmountable. Nearing the climax of the film, Chen takes on a Russian powerhouse known for bending metal bars. In an exciting battle of styles and temperaments, Chen responds to each one of Petrov's powerful attacks with vicious strikes and kicks that leave the Russian constantly on the ropes. Although by no means brief, this fight is shockingly one-sided. Number 9. Mr. Lee and Roper vs. Han's men. Enter the Dragon. As Enter the Dragon reaches its conclusion, Han's private martial arts tournament erupts into a massive brawl after Roper takes out the crime lord's main guard. Roper and Mr. Lee come together to take on an army of Han's goons, with the heroes eventually being aided by a group of prisoners held captive on the island. The whole sequence is chaotic and a sight to behold, with Lee looking in full control as he takes on multiple opponents without breaking a sweat. Lee probably could have taken on all of Han's henchmen on his own. Number 8. Chen Zhen vs. Hiroshi Suzuki, Fist of Fury. Everything in Fist of Fury is leading up to the battle between Jingwu School's Chen Zhen and the Hongku Dojo's master Hiroshi Suzuki. A scheming murderer directly responsible for the death of Chen's teacher, Suzuki fearfully hides behind a katana as he desperately tries to keep the hero and his nunchucks at a distance. The weapons represent the conflicting ideologies of the Jingwu School and the Hongku Dojo, while Chen smashing Suzuki multiple times in the face represents, well, that the protagonist is not especially fond of his opponent. While the fight is on the shorter side, every blow stresses the fact that Chen and Suzuki want to kill each other, and one of them eventually succeeds. Number 7. Mr. Lee vs. Han, Enter the Dragon. Following a solid fight that ends with a spear stuck in a wall, Lee chases Han into a room of mirrors. More of a psychological than a physical fight, Lee and Han engage in a cat-and-mouse contest as the hero struggles to pick out the real villain from the many illusions caused by the mirrors. Bolstered by splendid cinematography and an intensity that does not let up for a second, Enter the Dragon's final battle stands out as a unique experience in Bruce Lee's impressive catalog of cinematic action scenes. Number 6. Bruce Lee as Billy Lowe vs. Dan Inosanto as Pasquale, Game of Death. As just a percentage of Game of Death was filmed before Bruce Lee's untimely passing, who knows how much of Bruce's original vision is captured in the completed version. If the immaculate fight scene pitting Lee against Dan Inosanto is anything to go by, Game of Death was going to be something special. The two masters craft a flawlessly paced encounter that is just as much about the gaps between the blows as it is about the hits themselves. Locked in a game of chess with nunchucks, each move made by Lee and Inosanto is calculated, suspenseful, and gripping. Number 5. Chen Chaoan vs. Xiao Mi, the Big Boss. Also known as Fists of Fury, the Big Boss puts Bruce Lee on the map as an action movie star. Centering around a drug trade operating out of an ice factory, the film culminates with a brutal battle pitting Lee's Chen Chaoan against Xiao Mi, the titular Big Boss. Marked by a vicious intensity that arguably none of Lee's subsequent movies would replicate, this bloody fight blends stellar stunt work with strategy and storytelling. Xiao Mi grows more fearful of Cheng and desperate as the battle progresses, culminating in a fantastic and narratively complementary final move. Number 4, Mr. Lee vs. Ohara, Enter the Dragon. This is less of a contest and more of a prolonged execution. Mr. Lee meets Ohara, the man responsible for his sister's death, in a shady martial arts tournament, and then proves that revenge is a dish best served with multiple blows to the head. While Bob Wall's Ohara presents an imposing figure, the martial artist is absolutely dismantled by Lee. Once the desperate killer brings a broken bottle into play, O'Hara's fate is sealed. There are plenty of more complex fight scenes, but this battle effectively tells a story and highlights Bruce Lee's acting chops, all while still including a few jaw-dropping moves. Number 3, Tong Lung vs. Colt, Way of the Dragon. In The Way of the Dragon's climax, Bruce Lee's Tong Lung faces off against Chuck Norris's Colt in a fight for the ages. Set in Rome's Colosseum, this is a true battle of the Goliaths, as two masters earn each other's respect while holding absolutely nothing back. Tong comes across as unstoppable in most fights, but Colt gets plenty of good licks in, making the hero's eventual dominance all the more impressive. Lee gets to show off a wide range of moves, be it body chops or low kicks, while Norris helps ensure the fight is mesmerizing every step of the way. Number 2, the Hongku Dojo fight, Fist of Fury. Following an intense and frustrating opening segment that involves representatives of a Japanese dojo mocking the deceased master of the Jingwu school, Chen decides to get some revenge.
还是全体呢？我一个人就够你受了。到来。
More than 24 students attempt to overwhelm Chen, only for each one of them to be taught an emphatic lesson. Expertly choreographed to ensure each moment flows seamlessly to the last, this sequence is enthralling from beginning to end. Things only get better when Chen brings out the nunchucks, causing the students to collectively wish their dojo used brown gi. Before we unveil our top pick, here are a few honorable mentions. Bruce Lee as Billy Lowe versus Kareem Abdul-Jabbar as Hakim, Game of Death, because the size difference is a sight to behold. Underground fight, Enter the Dragon, because this fight builds up steam nicely and features a young Jackie Chan. The alley fight with weapons, Way of the Dragon, because these gangsters are so outmatched, it is almost hilarious.
Get him!
Tong Loong versus two martial artists, Way of the Dragon, because each kick lands with incredible power. Kato versus Lo Sing, the Green Hornet, because this was a preview of things to come.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications.
Number 1, the Ice Factory fight, The Big Boss. Putting aside a very brief fight that serves as a teaser of things to come, The Big Boss holds back on its Bruce Lee until the movie's final act. Then, Lee's Cheng takes on the Big Boss's son and a gaggle of goons in an ice factory, creating history in the process. Along with being the first major cinematic showcase of Lee's martial arts, this sequence amplifies its dynamic stunt work with innovative use of weaponry and a willingness to get bloody. Tiny character moments like Cheng tasting his own blood supplement the action splendidly, while there's just something satisfying about seeing Lee punch a guy through a wall.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.